Through dedicated study, consistent practice, and the support of Alaska Native students and teachers, a robust foundation is built for learning Native languages in Southeast Alaska. Teachers forge deep connections with students, blending language and culture to nurture ties to Alaska Native heritage and oral traditions. Anchored in the past, present, and future, Alaska Native languages will persist, inspiring and educating through our collective efforts. This lecture series aims to educate students on the challenges of studying heritage languages and to equip them for this important work. Today we'll explore the trials and triumphs of our teachers, reminding ourselves that we walk a path already trodden. These languages are our ancestors' legacy, carried forward by today's speakers, continuously inspiring us with every utterance. In April of 2022, Dag Júus Robert Yates received his Indigenous Language Teaching Certificate from the University of Alaska Southeast, Juneau, where he was also taught Hudkill. Through Tlingit and Haida, he teaches Hudkill classes twice a week via Zoom. He also teaches Hudkill once a week at Craig Head Start and teaches for Outer Coast College. Additionally, he teaches Hudkill independently in the evening. He is on the board of directors for XKKF. His concept is that language and culture are healing. He enjoys writing in Hudkill short stories, songs, poetry, and tribal values. When our children speak our language, it will survive. In his presentation titled Enduring Language Work Has Its Rewards, Dag Júus Robert Yates will expand on the importance of language work, the consistent need to improve and focus on curriculum, and writing books and sacred words for ceremonies to keep the language alive for future generations, while honoring our ancestors. At the end of the lecture, there will be an opportunity to ask questions, both live and online. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dag Júus.
I'll be speaking a lot in Hudkill with English translation. Ki tidasa, kuljat anga, kilstlai anga, hadala isis, tolan quias isis. Welcome, greetings, matriarchs, ladies of high esteem, hereditary chiefs, good people, precious friends. Atlan anas digudinai lagan. I am happy to be here. Dalan itsase digudinai lagan. I am happy that you folks have come. Dalan eilandi hungilgan. I am honored with your presence. And since we are honoring our ancestors, I will be doing my lineage to honor the ancestors in my family. Elizabeth Yeltachi John, Di Na Łagigyetgm. My great-great-grandmother was Elizabeth Yeltachi John. She was born 1830 in Haukan. Stlahutlas, Iskian Tlakaswas, Hinu Hadkish Di Nan Kiatkin. My great-great-grandmother's Haida names were Stlahutlas and Tlakaswas. Ben John Sr. Di Tsimshian Uijin. My great-great-grandfather was Ben John Sr. Dag Júus Hinu Hadkish Di Tsimshian Kiatkin. My Dag Júus was my great-great-grandfather's Haida name. Notice I said Tsimshian twice, so I had to say grandfather's grandfather. That's how we say great-great-grandfather. Dag Júus H. Di Tian. I am named after Dag Júus. Katie John Vandal Di Nan Łagigyetgm. My great-grandmother was Katie John Vandal. I said Di Nan Au, which is my grandmother's mother. So that's how we say my great-grandmother. Gulkishka Hinu Hadkish Di Nan Au Kiatkin. Gulkishka was my great-grandmother's Haida name. It means abalone dish. John Vandal Collison di Non Hat Uijin. My great-grandfather was John Vandal Collison. Galgays Iskin Stella. Hinu Hadkis di Non Hat Kyatkin. Galgays and Stella were my great-grandfather's Haida names. And again, I said Dinan Hat, my grandmother's father. Jenny Vandal Collison Carl Dinanuijan. My great-grandmother was Jenny Ida Vandal Collison Carl. Ilskadai Iskin Helianjat Hinuhat Kis Dinan Kyatkin. Ilskadai and Helianjat were my grandmother's Haida names. So my grandmother was the baby of the family. And I think what happened is they gave her the name Ilskadai, which means baby doll. And then they found out she had a voice. So they gave her the name Helianjat, which means Thunder Woman. So there's a big difference between those two names. George Carl D. Chinuijan. My grandfather was George Carl. Ethel Carl Yates D. Auijan. My mother was Ethel Carl Yates. Gat Dung Hinu Hadkis Di Au Kyatkin. Gat Dung was my mother's Haida name. And for years I pondered the meaning of that name. And I believe it was in the Northern Haida Songbook. They talked about Gat Dung. Gat is deer, and Dung is you or your. So it actually means you're a peace envoy. Because when peace had to be made between warring clans, they would dress them up as a deer, and that would be the peace envoy. So it took me a long time, but I finally found the meaning of the name. Ralph Tex Yates, D. Hunga region. My father was Ralph Tex Yates. Notice his nickname was Tex, and yes, he was from Texas. But he was adopted Haida Eagle. Sas Togash Hinu Hadkis Di Hung Kyatkin. My father's Haida name was Sas Togash, meaning bright, shiny copper shield. Rob Yates Hinu Dikiang. My name is Rob Yates. Dag Júus Iskin Huya Hadas Hinu Hadkis Dikiang. My Haida names are Dag Júus and Huya Hadas, meaning small shrimp and white raven respectively. Di-u Hatagang, I am Haida. Di Yalagang, I am Raven. Di-u Yaklin Gagang, I am a man of the Yaklanis clan. Huya Hadas Hasi, Udi Ijan, white raven is my crest. Shan, Seal, Trustung, Hasi Udi Ijan, double-fin killer whale is my crest. Kaustlai Stus Ijan, I am from Craig. Kaustlai Eis Usnagan, I live in Craig. And a few words about our ancestors. Íitl Kuníisii, our precious ancestors. We acknowledge them today. Íitl Kuníisii, Sa, Hidan, our ancestors were high caste. Weishan U Kint Esda Haya Gangan, therefore they knew how to do things. Íitl Kuníisii Quias Gaustlu Ge Íitla Shlanga Angang, if it weren't for our precious ancestors, we would be nothing. As a young man, when culture bearers would speak and they would say, our ancestors are helping you on your journey, back then I was really naive, and I thought, oh, they're saying kind words, which they were. But I didn't think anything else of it until our ancestors actually started helping me with the language, with song, with our crest. So just this last Saturday, I opened my mouth to start speaking Haida, but I didn't know what was going to come out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was Íitl Kuníisii. We are learning our indigenous languages. You won't find that in a book anywhere. No one taught it to me. The ancestors taught that to me. And also one day when I was living in Oregon, it was 5:30 in the morning. I just woke up. I was walking down the hallway, and I was taking Haida classes through UAS with Shm'algyack, which I'm still doing. I'm just in her advanced Haida class now. But I was walking down the hallway, and I had a phrase flash through my mind. I never heard it before. I haven't read it anywhere. No one taught it to me. It was the ancestors. And they said, Nang Íitl Kuníisii. And whenever they teach me, it's always crystal clear. There's no guesswork involved. And it means when a man is peaceful. So now when I get stressed, I say to myself, Nang Íitl Kuníisii, when a man is peaceful. Also one night I was dreaming, and a voice in my dream said, Kunganga, 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 3 times. The moon is yours, they said 3 times. 3 days later, an aunt contacted me, and she said, I want to ask you about the moon crest. I said, oh, Aunt, I've been waiting for someone to contact me, because the ancestors were giving me the confirmation that the moon is our crest. I would also like to recognize at this time those who helped me learn Haida or who have encouraged me. My nan was a Haida language warrior. She spoke fluently, and it was her wish that her grandchildren would learn Haida. And so I've never forgotten that. I would like to thank Kune. His Haida name is Shm'algyack. I always remember what he taught us. Indigenous language revitalization, now or never. That has always stuck with me. And plus his strong commitment to Indigenous language revitalization. I would like to recognize Ilskialis. That's Dolores Churchill's Haida name. She's our last fluent Haida speaker in Alaska. I'd like to recognize Dr. Marianne Ignace. Her Haida name is Gulkiskat. I've taken some of her classes in the Our Language Pathways program, and she made learning so much fun. The classes were long, but it felt like the classes were short because we were absorbing so much and we wanted to know more and more. I'd like to recognize Jess Kwan, also known as Amanda Bedard. She's a Haida language teacher. I would like to recognize Shm'algyack. I've been taking Haida classes with her since 2015. And I would like to recognize Young, Ben Young of Heidelberg. He was one of our teachers when we first started our Language Pathways program. I would like to recognize my parents and siblings who always encouraged me. And I would like to recognize Íitl, my hubby. And when I was at UAS in our Language Pathways program, I wasn't only busy as a student, I was busy as a teacher. One spring there was no Haida teacher, and I was supposed to have been in the meeting to discuss who was gonna fill in that for that spot, and I forgot, and I took a nap, and I woke up to text messages. You're our new adjunct professor this spring for Beginning Haida. So I got voted in even though I wasn't at the meeting. That same spring, Tlingit Haida contracted me to start teaching during the lunch hour on Mondays and Wednesdays, which I still continue to do. So there was a lot going on. The Beginning Haida class that I had to teach was 3 hours long, and I had no curriculum. And was I shaking in my boots? Yes, I was. When class would be over, I would take a big breath like, whew. I did it. I made it through 3 hours. Somehow I made it through 3 hours. And it really pushed me into developing curriculum. I want to acknowledge SHI and UAS. SHI also, the summer of 2022, I had to do my summer internship. And it wasn't just teaching Haida a couple hours a week. I was teaching Haida every day, and but there were several other hours to fill in for that work week. And so it gave me a great opportunity to build more curriculum, which as a teacher, we always need more curriculum, especially in our indigenous languages that we're trying to revitalize. One thing I did with those 3 hour long classes teaching Beginning Haida at UAS, I was doing a lot of drilling the language, and but that gets monotonous. And so I started using Quizlet to make the class more fun. The students really liked it. They enjoyed the music and the games. I participated in Native oratory that spring as well, and spoken Haida with no English translation. We have one of the judges here today. And from there, I was invited to be a speaker at one of the UAS graduations. So I had to go to graduation twice. I had to go to graduate and get my certificate of Indigenous language teaching, and then I had to go back to another graduation and speak. When Kuyang was our teacher in advanced Haida class, he asked a very profound question. Santla'u had kil, dung skatang, why do you want to learn Haida? And I thought really long and hard about that question and came up with some responses to it. Hadkes talangusus blue, each hatai, han each unsit wang. When we speak the Haida language, then we know we are Haida. This next phrase is from someone who I'd also like to recognize, Dr. Al Júus, Dr. Irma Lawrence. She did a lot to record the language and get books published, such as the Alaskan Haida Phrase Book and so on. This is her phrase. Ginhaganan u Kíl and Shm'algyack kilgungung. The reason is that it's important to learn your language. Why Tlangan hadkist gusugun. Very few people speak in Haida nowadays. The language is critically endangered. As I mentioned earlier, we only have one fluent elder left. And we want to change that. We want to raise up more speakers. We want to, not only that, we need more teachers. We need to raise up more teachers in the language and we need to normalize our languages. We don't need to be embarrassed that we're speaking our own language. So reclaim our languages, speak our languages, raise up more speakers if the language is to continue, which is exactly what we want. Another response I had to the question, why do you want to learn Haida? Hadkes talangususlu, Íitl Kuníisii, talangudungun. When we speak the Haida language, our ancestors hear us. A lot of us natives believe that in the afterworld, when we see our ancestors, we want to be able to communicate with them. We're not going to be able to communicate with them in English. That's not going to cut it. We have to speak the language that they grew up hearing. Another response, Ginhaganan u hadkil esh kutkits, gien kilgungung. The reason is because the Haida language is sacred and important. Ginhaganan u Íitl Kuníisii kuyas esh is. The reason is because of our precious ancestors. Hadkil ashji haganan u Íitl hatagan. That which makes us Haida, the Haida language. Kaustlai in Craig, there's a shift that's happening. There's more interest in culture, regalia, language, songs, and history. The Craig tribe is reclaiming some of our traditional territory. In Craig, what we call Cannery Point, there used to be a Haida village there. We're getting a portion of that back, and a Haida longhouse will be built. And that too is part of the shift. It's causing excitement and interest. And that Haida longhouse is going to need our traditional songs and our language. It's going to need sacred ceremonies. And so when we learn our indigenous languages, it's for a lot of reasons. Not only to honor our ancestors, learning our language is healing. One day, I was having a really bad day, which doesn't normally happen to me. I'm usually mellow, easygoing, can watch one log, and everything's fine. All is good, no worries. But one day I was having a bad day, and I never ever bring that to a language class. It's just, it's taboo to do that. So I went into class like I normally would, and we ended up laughing and teasing and joking. And I used to wonder why our elders laughed so much when they teased each other in their languages. And now I know why. It's just plain funnier. It really strikes my funny bone to laugh and tease with each other in the language. And so what started out as a bad day, my spirits were completely lifted, and it was a day of joy. So a bad day doesn't have to ruin your day, because we all make choices, right? Life is all about choices. So, and when we teach the language, we always go in with positivity. That certainly helped. But it was the laughter, the smiles, the teasing, the joy that really lifted my spirits. And it's very healing. Another reason, ginhaganan u hadkil quias Íitl Kuníisii hinangagan. The reason is our desire to keep the precious Haida language alive. When I worked as a cultural coordinator, there was a language grant, and so we ordered a bookbinding machine. And in 15 minutes, you could have a book, 15 seconds, not 15 minutes, 15 seconds, you could have a book printed. All you needed was the paper to go in your book, the clear jackets, and then into the side of the machine you would put a binding strip, and 15 seconds later your book would be printed. Well, we bought the machine, but it never came with any cord. So I'm desperately trying to find a cord because I want to be able to publish our own books. One day at the Craig schools, we're doing Indigenous Day, and I wrote a story called Dag Júus. And it looks like I have the time to share it. I'll share it with you. It has a little bit of humor in it, but the neat thing about the story of Dag Júus is it's not just a story. It tells the listener or the reader the life cycle of the coho salmon. because prior to research, I just thought all salmon had the same life cycle. And it turns out each one of them have their own life cycle. So it doubled as a teaching tool to teach the children about the life cycle of the coho. Please bear with me a moment. I'm trying to find page 1, and I might have to do it off of the laptop. So for those of you involved in language work, if you like to write stories, please know that those stories can be made into books. And get those published. Our children need more stories in our own languages. So this is the story of Dag Júus, which means little salmon, and this little salmon happens to be a coho. Aji gatlingai hidedu Dag Júus Egen. This story is about little salmon. Tai u Dag Júus Egen. Little salmon is a coho salmon. Dag Júus Tlingit gulagan. Little salmon likes to swim. Tai huntlai etlu Dag Júus nagan. Little salmon lives in a coho stream. Tada swanson glu u gu Dag Júus nangsang. Little salmon will live there for 1 year. Íitl Kuníisii Dag Júus tagan. Little salmon eats mosquitoes. Tai gilai a Dag Júus nangang. Little salmon plays in the coho pool. Tai gilai Dag Júus tlaandang. The coho pool offers protection to little salmon. Keet gunga hit Dag Júus gulagan. Little salmon likes to be under the dead tree. And when I was sharing this story with the school kids, I forgot about the differences between boys and girls as in perspective, because I'm about to mention Dag Júus's friend. And, okay, I'll do it now. Kugan Júus Holtolas Egen. His good buddy is Little Booger. So when I said this part, the boys were laughing and the girls were like, ew, gross. That's what I mean. I forgot about the different perspectives. La tolas Dag Júus sugangen. Little salmon would often say to his good buddy, Aya talang nang sin, let's play today. Kyakid Kugan Júus Dag Júus Itli dan gulagan. Sometimes little salmon likes to tease Little Booger. Hingan Kugan Júus gagang. Little Booger just laughs. Daman gut tlaantwang. They are sure to protect each other. They know that there are eagles that would like to eat them for dinner, and so that coho pole with a dead tree, it provides protection for them. So that's one reason they like that spot so much. Ikwan ayat Chinjus Gaswanson Ijin. However, today, little salmon is all by himself. Chinjus Hudai Kengang. The eagle sees little salmon. Hudai Chinjus Gijgilta since long. The eagle tries to catch little salmon. Guinness Genu. Ay, ay, oh my goodness, poor thing. Chinjus, chinjus, chinjus. Tlagindo hangalasla. Little salmon, little salmon, little salmon, swim fast. Kidai a chinjus katlagan. Little salmon makes it to the dead tree. In other words, he makes it to safety. Jinestlu, Sigai Au, Chinjus Gut Kaugang. A long time later, little salmon wants to go to the ocean. Remember, they could stay in their coho stream for 1 year, and then they will feel an urge to go to the ocean, and so that's another perspective. I thought they just were in their stream, a river, and then they just went all the way out to the ocean. That's not the case with the coho. They're smart. They know there's a long, dangerous journey ahead, and so they swim down to the mouth of the river first. And they got to get used to taking in the salt water, and they got to get used to eating different foods, and they got to get stronger. Then they go out to sea. Tlugwat a chinjus tlagindalgan. Little salmon swims to the coast. Ow, chinjus ijang. Little salmon stays here. Taugin sudala chinjus tagan. Little salmon eats tiny foods. Askais chinjus dagwiyagan. Afterwards, little salmon is strong. Chinjus sangurinai tlatskagan. Little salmon is brave and determined too. You have to be brave and determined to be a little salmon and go out and swim with the sharks and kill whales. Amchuan chinju siskwi glagendalgan. Soon little salmon swims way out to sea. Jinestlu hidang. It takes a long time. Kuchin kwan gut halkengang. He sees lots of other fish there. San iskien, hoot iskien, keet iskien, ku chinjus jinagang. Little salmon stays away from the killer whales, seals, sea lions, and sea otters. Ginaganan u chinjus natsang. The reason is the little salmon will live a long life. Klistluan chinjus tisang. One of these days, little salmon will return. Chinjus goodinai la sang. Little salmon will be happy. You know, in August, when you see a lot of fish jumping out in the water, and you ask people, why are they jumping? And we hear a bunch of different opinions. Some say they're jumping out of the water and smacking back down to loosen up the eggs, the salmon eggs that are inside. But I believe that they know that they are returning home. And so they're leaping out of the water for joy. Chinjus Kadajai Gulagan. Little salmon likes to jump. Hol ha Kada Gangsung. He will jump over and over. Wadlu Tai Hunt Like Week Chinjus Lagendal song. Then he'll swim towards the Coho stream. Clanku Jinjus Ijun. Where is little salmon going to? Anaka, home. Ao Tlan Gatling I Hedan. This is the end of the story. So as I said, I shared this with the Craig School children, and they came and thanked me afterwards. It's a joy to work with the kids. Also, I help out with the Baby Ravens Reads program and sing songs and tell stories. Sometimes we do Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, and we'll do it in 3 languages, English, Sign Language, and Haida. Another good thing about teaching the children our indigenous languages, they're already smart, but it makes them even smarter. Because you have to start using 2 brains, your English brain and your indigenous brain. And it's proven, scientifically proven, that they are more creative and smarter than folks who only speak 1 language. Now at this time, I'm going to share Godam Teben, I think it was August 2022, when the language of our ancestors is a Lingít song, but SHI wanted it to be in Kíl and Shm'algyack as well, and so I am going to sing the Kíl version. So the way we say the language of our ancestors in Kíl is Íitl Kuníisii Kíl and Shm'algyack. Íitl Kuníisii Kíl and hey, Íitl Kíl and Shm'algyack, Íitl Kíl and Shm'algyack. Hey, Kíl and Dag song. Hey, Hadkil Gusu, Schwanen song. Hey. Translation: our ancestors' language is inside of us. Our language will become stronger. The Haida language will continue to be spoken forever. I'm about 5 minutes shy.
At this time, we can take some time for some questions. If anyone here has a question. We don't have many questions online yet, but we have a bunch of people wishing you well. Big Bear Alexander says, Dag Júus Robert Na Łagigyetgm, Yang Dan Sugan, Hadkil said. Is there anyone here that has a question?
Dag Júus, I'm King's age degree in so I'm one of your students in the online class, and I'm really grateful for your teaching. Earlier you mentioned using Quizlet for exercises. Are those exercises available for us to look at and to use somewhere?
That's a good question. There are, let me take a look. Let me take a quick look. Hopefully they're still there. I can't seem to find it. I would have to look through my email and see if I could get to the Quizlet site, because the way I remember it, my work was there, but also Kuyang's work was there, and then and other students, because one of our assignments when we were students was we had to make our own Quizlet. And it was like a community place where you could see all the Quizlets that were made into language. So I'll have to look into that and get back to you, Shigok.
Yeah, if you can find those and share them out, it would be fun to go through them and we can do the exercises and practice. And I really liked your story that you told towards the end. Is that a thing that you translated into the language? Or?
You mean Chin Juice?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of research for that story, and so I did the Hadkill and the English translation. But like I said, I like the fact that I learned more about salmon, and it turned out to be a story, but a teaching tool as well.
I really enjoyed that.
How?
In fact, I would like to see more like that stories.
Yes, I will always endeavor to come up with more stories like that one. It would be interesting to see more stories come from our indigenous languages that are more than just a, I shouldn't say more than just a story, but that double as a teaching tool, especially in our schools.
We have another question online. Renee says, Dag Júus, would it be helpful to have a central book publishing group so curriculum ideas could become print and PDF books with graphic design assistance? Central meaning for all Kíl, Shm'algyack, and Tlingit material development, publication, and distribution, hopefully free for learners. He also says, Jaha Dag Júus and Na Łagigyetgm.
That is an excellent idea. I would really like that. You know, when you spend years coming up with curriculum and stories, and I keep running into these walls as far as getting books published. I think that's a great idea to have a community forum or a common place where we could go and look at and see what books have been published, which ones are in PDF format. You wouldn't have to pack a book around with you. If you wanted to share it with a class, you could just simply pull up the PDF from your laptop, share it with the students. I think that is an excellent idea. Haa Shuká.
Are there any other questions? Go to
Hadketh, Jaha I know you already know who my relatives are, but I wanted to speak Hakil to you. John Hawa for teaching me our language and helping me translate my Hakil name. I was given my name as an infant from my Chinam, Maurice Peel, and for years we didn't know what the translation was. So Hawa for helping me bring my name back and sharing our language, always creating a safe space for all our people.
Haa Shuká.
If there are no more questions, I would like to invite you guys to our next lecture, which will be Friday, March 22nd, with Neela Toga at 10 o'clock for her talk on building your mentor team. Haa Shuká for joining us today, and a special haa to Dag Júus, and I hope to see you all next time.
Haa.